Hi, this is Anusha. Do you mind taking 10 seconds of your time to rate and review us on any platform that you're listening to? This will really help other people find our podcast and we would greatly appreciate it. We do really want to meet other people. We really want to include more people into this community. We want to meet people that are also transitioning in their 20s. So we would really appreciate you taking the time to do that. Thank you so much. And now let's get into the episode.
Wait,
But we don't
guess
have
what?
to have it figured out.
Guess what he said?
That's what
No,
they
not
say.
again.
But sometimes it's like,
I know.
there's so much free will.
But how
It's okay,
does a
take it
20-year-old
easy. I know,
travel
life
so
is
much,
hard.
but then we have
It's
so
so
hard. We
money.
figure so many things out. Money, marriage. No, I don't understand my friendship. Yeah, sometimes it's just so confusing.
I love you.
Having like a session here right now.
Or maybe it's just conversations over coffee. I hate confronting
Hot
people.
chocolates. I would love a hot chocolate right now.
Do you want to start a podcast?
Let's do it.
Welcome back to the 20s in Transition podcast, everyone. We are your host, Anusha Khannan, and
Likita Gopinath. And in this episode, it's going to be a very, asked for episode. We're going to be talking about red flags and green flags in relationships. Not just romantic, but even platonic ones. So, yeah, let's get into it.
cool. So, what do you think are the red and green flags? I'm just gonna jump right in. Like, what do you
Jump right in. No,
Yeah.
not going slow. Not just going slow. No testing
is
the
that
waters. It's just
is that considered a red flag? Because I think in dating is I don't know, dude.
yeah.
See, I'll tell
So
you one
basically,
thing. I'll tell you one thing. I don't care about red and green flags because I'm the greenest green flag ever. I'm just gonna put it out there
yeah.
so you guys know that.
You are a green flag.
Yeah, I
Did
know
you notice people
that.
start saying he's not a green flag, he's the green forest and all in comments of reels and all. I'm like, wow, okay, so there's a new thing now. Not green flag, it's a green forest.
It's me. That's me. They're talking about me.
Okay, so basically, actually, I don't think there are red flags and green flags. Until like recently, I used to think, oh my God, this person is such a red flag. But to be very honest, all of us have red flags, and it's very arbitrary. Like for some people, a red flag that according to me is a red flag for them is a green flag, and you know what, it can be vice versa. So it really is very subjective, and I think we should stop using the term red flags. Even if our episode is called red flags versus green flags. But yeah, what
Yeah.
do you think? Do you think there are actually red flags in people?
I don't because I mean, growing up, we didn't know about any of these things, right? Like when we were teenagers, obviously we didn't know that. But as we grew up and started hearing these terms, I didn't look at them as, how normal people would. And I'm not saying I'm abnormal, but at the same time, I just got so much into all of these like psychological stuff that I didn't think about this. I think even like really big doctors talk about red and green flags, but I don't know how much I identify with that. I don't know how much I look for that when I'm like becoming friends with someone or whatever. Like, I just don't think it is that. And I also don't think people treat you a certain way. When people start treating you a certain way, it's not that that's just who they are. I think it's more about that's the situation they're in. I think most of us just go with the flow. I don't think anybody's like thinking things through that negatively, just wanting to hurt someone. I'm not saying that there aren't people with bad intentions, but I don't think we've talked about this before. I don't think anybody is bad. Nobody is born bad. Situations, make people do things, and I don't think anybody is necessarily bad. But at the same time, sometimes you can't like put up with some things that people do. And we've talked about this even in like the outgrowing friendships episode, where certain things when people do, it's just not we're not able to tolerate that in that moment, but that doesn't mean that we won't put up with the same characteristics from another person in another time, right? So I don't think anybody is a red flag. I don't think anybody's a green flag. I just think people are themselves. Sometimes you can put up with people. Sometimes I've been in situations where I'm like, I cannot believe I actually tolerated that 5 years ago. I probably wouldn't have. And I think it's about adjusting and getting to know people, like understanding them. That's how people grow, and some people fall out, some people just like keep going, like how we met. But we probably were the reddest red flags. Both of us were probably that. But now we're like, oh, we can get along so well, we can talk every time. There is just nothing that can, I don't see anything that can cause a problem between us. But even then, we're both like understanding each other. We're understanding that communication is something that we have to do. We're both understanding that this is something that you can do, that this is something that I cannot do, and we're understanding that okay, I'm going to give her the space to process this thoughts and whatever she has, and I'm going to let her come to me. And you do the same thing for me. Like, okay, let me just listen to what she's saying. I'll be patient with her. So I think that's something that only two people who really care about each other can do. And I mean, if you both can do that, green flags. If you can't, I think it's a red flag, right? Like, what else is there?
Yeah, I mean, if you're self-analyzing too much, that is also very bad, right? If you're like constantly, constantly aware of what you're feeling, what you're doing, and analyzing too much, reading between the lines too much, that is also really, really bad. And yeah, I know, let's hide both our faces, man. So yeah, I think we should give us some slack, right? Not overanalyze everything that we do, and we're like, oh my god, I mean, if someone knew I was doing this, or if someone knew what was going on in my mind, nobody would like me. I mean, I think everybody is like that. So everybody has a little bit of red flags in them, and I think everybody goes through that time where you're like over analyzing yourself, saying, oh my god, this is a red flag in me, that is a red flag in me, this is a red flag in me, and things like that. So yeah, I feel like it depends on how people are brought up, right? Like, people undergo different circumstances, they're brought up with different kind of relationships, their family dynamics are different. So let's say a person who's brought up in a family who communicates a lot, and they communicate their emotions. If they're dating someone who doesn't communicate, that is a red flag for them. But at the same time, if someone's brought up in a family that doesn't really communicate, it isn't necessarily a red flag for them. Lack of communication isn't a red flag. Says someone who cannot even communicate, but yeah, never mind. So yeah, it
But
actually really differs.
with that, right, like you said, with someone who cannot communicate, I think it's also about the other person understanding that with some people it's okay if they don't communicate, right? Like, for me, if you don't communicate your feelings, I can just read you. I'm that person. But some people cannot do that. Some people are like, tell me what you think. I can't read your mind. Like, tell me. And that is also fine. I think with certain people, you just pick up on things. I think it's also about like how much you've communicated in the past. And it's not about what you've talked about, it's about how you've talked to each other. So if you know someone's characteristics, if you just know their heart and you know how they think and everything, every situation that comes up in the future, you'd probably be able to predict why they're doing what they're doing. With some people, you just cannot. I've had people in my life where I'm like, I cannot understand why you don't want to talk about this, and I'm not gonna bother you to talk about this. Like, I just don't know why you don't want to talk about this, but I'm not gonna bother. And I also cannot understand why you don't want to talk about this. So the whole thing is just very confusing for one person. But with some people, I've had it like, I know exactly why you don't want to talk about it, and I'm totally fine with that because I know what you're going through and I know what your thought process is like because I know you. Wow, that's a lot of sunlight. But that's what I'm saying, right? So I don't think it's about everybody wanting to communicate. I think it's about the right conversations. It's about the right words, the right energies. Even if you don't communicate, I think when you're sitting next to someone, you just know, like, I can get it. I get it. I get what you're going through, and that's fine. But some people, it's just very confusing. And yeah, you're right. Some people might look at that and think red flag. Some people might look at that and think green flag.
Yeah, especially when, like, going back to my point where you shouldn't judge a person, immediately saying that, oh my God, this person is a red flag. This especially happens when you're like, newly dating someone. When you just start dating, you're on a first date or something, and then that person does something that really bothers you. Maybe it was just out of, their habit, or maybe they were just too nervous. And me personally, I would be too quick to judge, saying, oh my God, that's an ick. That's an ick. That's a red flag right there. But I think we should really give people, the benefit of the doubt that, maybe people are, nervous, and give them chance to actually, do better. And for me, there was this time when I went on a date. I don't even know if I can talk about this, but I went on a date, and that person really didn't treat the waitress really well. I mean, I really like people who are really nice and are really kind. Even if they overdo it, I really like it. But not acknowledging, not saying thank you or things like that, it's not a red flag. But for me, I feel like to just be nice to other people, no, just smile or say thank you for no reason. I keep saying thank you for no reason. So at least do that. They didn't do that. I was like, oh, that's an ick number one, then ick number two, ick number three, ick number four. It just kept going. But at the end of the day, I realized that maybe that person was just too nervous, or maybe something else was going on in his mind, or things like that. And I think we should really give people some slack. Just give them a couple more chances, because even we make mistakes. So never write off a person as, they are a whole red flag.
Also, like when you think about people in love, right? Like romantic ones, when you're in love with someone so much, you just don't see anything red. You're just like, oh my God, the perfect human alive. I think we all tend to do that. Even with friendships, it's like that. When you really like a friend, you just like whatever they do, you just put up with all the crap. And then one point you realize, like, damn, bro, I deserve to be treated better, even as a friend. And I think with first impressions, I mean, people make a big deal out of first impressions, right? And that's why I don't like the whole dating game, which is like people just showing up fake. I don't think people show up as themselves, and we do that in job interviews. We do that everywhere. Which is like the
It's
only
like an
goal of that.
elevator pitch. You see the
Exactly.
best. You see the best side of
Exactly.
them.
Yeah. The only goal of that scenario is to make sure I impress this person. And for someone who doesn't care about impressing others, it's very difficult for me. I'm a straight shooter. I'm like, you can think whatever you want about me. I just do not care. And I think it's like, it's weird, man. This whole like trying to impress someone else and showing up to be the greenest flag. Like, yeah, we all have stuff that has happened to us, stuff that, and it might not be considered as a big deal to you, but it might be a big deal to me and vice versa, right? So I think it's about finding people who understand you, who understand that your red flags are not really that big of a red flag for them, which is something they can understand. And for some people, it's just not that case, and it's fine. Like that. That I also want people to know that that doesn't define you. But with that being said, you also have to work on yourself. You also have to like look at things, how that makes you feel. Because I think over the period of time, we convince ourselves saying that this is who I am. People have to accept me for you. That is fine. I get that. But also for you to recognize, like, how do you feel when you treat a person a certain way? I mean, if you, let's say, for example, like you said, the waiter thing, if that person doesn't actually feel like they're doing something wrong, we can't help that. It's up to that person to recognize that. We can point that out, but it's up to that person to take accountability and work on that, because some people just get defensive when you tell them, hey, I think this is how I expect that people should be treated. And they'll just get defensive and they'll tell you that, oh, I don't think of it that way. I'm too cool for school or something like that. I'm like, cool, dude. Like, good luck. Find another girl. Like,
but
not
but
me.
is it, I don't know if I'm alone in this one, but for example, let's say, you want your boyfriend to buy you some flowers, okay? And it's like they don't do it on their own because that's not their love language. And you tell them that, hey, I would really appreciate if you brought me flowers, and then they buy you flowers, and then you were like, see, I don't want to tell you to buy me
I
flowers.
had to
You
ask
should have
for
just
it.
bought it on your own. So this is the main reason why I don't communicate. It's like you're telling them what you want and they do it, but it's like you had to tell them to do it, so that's why they're doing it. They're not doing it out of their own, will.
Yeah.
So I feel like, what's the point then? I don't know. Just, I don't know. I want people to, DM me on this if you feel like this, or if I'm just crazy, because that's just how I feel. I'm like, if I have to tell you what I want and you can't read my mind, what's the point?
Yeah, I think
I
that's
don't know.
valid too. Like, it differs from one person to another 100%, because some people, I think if you like slip in and tell the guy, like, hey, I'm someone who likes, you know, getting flowers, I like chocolates and all of that, and they don't actually get the hint and they never take action on that, what's the point of communicating with you? But some people just get it. Some people are just like that. They know that this is what they're supposed to do. And I don't think it applies to all girls. I'm not going to generalize and say that every girl wants flowers, or if that girl wants flowers, she wants flowers. Like, that's totally fine and that's totally cool too. I don't think different people want different things, right? And that's okay too. And it's not just guys. I think girls also need to understand that sometimes guys want flowers. And I've read that. And that's pretty cool. To me, I think it's pretty cool. Girls don't recognize that as well. So I think it's pretty cool that, you know, I think it's just about understanding people, one person understanding another, platonic or romantic or whatever. You just need to understand what this person likes. I've always told a couple of my friends this, like, I think with love and stuff like that, it's just one person being completely in love with someone. But relationships are about two people who are in love with each other, or friendships who love each other, that come together to make the other person happy. So the whole point of coming together is to make the other person happy. So if you can't do that, if you don't understand what makes them happy, and if you're not going to go the extra mile, which is not just in the beginning stages, you have to keep doing that throughout your entire life, throughout that friendship, throughout that relationship. If you can't take that effort to make that other person happy, not all the all the time, but moments, you need to take moments for that particular relationship, be it friendship or relationship. You need to take those moments for yourself and make memories. And I think that's something a lot of people fail to do. For example, I've met people that their love language is words of affirmation, and that's probably the most simplest love language someone can have, right? To tell someone that you look cute today, you look beautiful today, I love your lipstick. I really do. I'm actually complimenting you. But to tell that, see, it brings a smile on your face and that makes you happy. So why can't people do that? I know a lot of people, for them, that words of affirmation is their love language. And I just feel bad when they have to ask for it. Like, I have to come and ask you to tell me I look beautiful. Like, why? Why can't you just say that? And I just think when people, putting this out there for people, like when you treat another person, just imagine how you'd feel if you were treated that way. If you just think about it for a second, you won't do that. And I'm not asking you to be naive and ask you to, just do stuff that is not getting, not recognized, but in a way where you don't feel like they like it or something like that. Just be very mindful of that. Like, understand what other person likes and don't take things to heart. And I also think with expectations, with love and everything, people have a lot of expectations where, like, I'm showing you this much love, you're not showing it back to me. Love is not about that. It's just about you loving that person. If you have expectations, that's a completely different thing. You can tell people that this is how I want to be treated, which I think is fine. A lot of people have normalized that everybody should just read my mind. Like you said, you can tell your partner that you like flowers, but then that's what you can do. But you need to tell them that if they don't understand it on their own, which is fine sometimes. But what is not okay is them knowing that you want that and not doing it for you. That is not fine. But if you don't, I mean, some people just don't know it, right? They are like that. They're innocent
They're
like that.
just
They
too
just
dumb, I
don't.
think.
Yeah, I
Oops.
mean, cool. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I think, but if you're ready to communicate it, if you're ready to tell it, and if they don't recognize that, I don't know how I feel about that. But yeah, some people can just read your mind, some people cannot, and depends on who we pick, friends and romantic partners.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree with the fact that, it is a red flag when you've communicated and they're not making efforts to, change it or do something about it. Then that's a red flag. Not initially, you hoping to, for them to read your mind or them just to get that sudden kind of thought or enlightenment saying, oh, this person likes this, let me do this. Yeah, it's basically I'm giving notes to myself. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I mean, the one thing that comes to mind is when in Friends, when Monica and Chandler fight, Chandler's just like, tell me what to do to fix this. She'll be like, I'm not your relationship tutor. That's just what came to mind. Because it's like, people just expect us to hand out notes to them and tell them how they're supposed to fix this. Like, figure it out yourself. I have told you what my problem is, and if you can't figure out how to fix it, then what the hell are we doing? Like, I think when two people care about each other, you just have to put in the effort to make sure that things work out. It has to be both sided, double sided, both sided. I don't know, whatever.
yeah. So I mean, I guess that's it.
Yeah, we were just like debating about this episode. We were like, what are we gonna do? Like, we have. I mean, I don't think this is the end of it, right? There are so many things that we can talk about, and if you guys want us to do a part two, just let us know like what specific things you want us to
I
talk
mean,
about.
if you want us to talk about the red flags in ourselves, we could do that. We could go on and on. But I don't think we're gonna do that. No.
And no, listen,
Enough
I
self-analyzing, dude. I am done.
I will be silent on that episode because I am the greenest flag. Like, come on, I don't know. I'm
You
just a green
are.
flag. Yeah, I'm just a green flag. That episode would be 0.00 because there is no audio there. It's just no. Anusha's flag.
From Anusha's end. I'll just keep going on and on in that. But no, actually, no. What am I saying? Even I don't have a lot of red flags. Maybe just
I don't think it's a
communication.
red flag. I don't think that's a red flag. That's just the way you are. I don't. I think people, wow, normalize that. Like, if you don't talk, you're a red flag. Some people like it when they don't talk. I've known a lot of people that don't want to talk. They just want to look into each other's eyes and
Sit
just
in
be like,
silence and do nothing.
no,
That's
they
my
just want to
thing.
like look into each other's eyes and just communicate. That's fine
See,
too.
that's
Creepy.
yeah. Imagine staring into someone's eyes and not saying anything. That's even more creepy.
Yeah,
அதுக்கு நான்
true. I don't
பேசுவேன்.
know. Why did you just talk in Tamil?
Sorry, it just came out in Tamil.
Likita just jumps into our mother tongue every now and then. I mean, that's not even your mother tongue. Let's
That
just,
is, that is, guys. I'm Tamilian. Yeah,
no.
let's continue.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, let us know what you think. And I'm
Yeah.
so glad we kept this episode under like 20 minutes. It's such a, we've been breaking records for the last couple of episodes.
Yeah, and to be very honest, I'm very, very curious on what you guys think are red flags and, green flags. I think, obviously, I mean, people have an understanding and it's pretty common. It's pretty common opinion for a lot of people, but red flags, I'm kind of curious. What do you think are red flags, and do you even think red flags exist? Or, I don't know. Let us know in the Q&A box.
Yeah. And yeah, we've come to, that's your part. I'm going to let you say it.
Okay, with that, we've come to the end of this episode. It was quick and short, and we hope you guys liked it.
Yeah, we hope we're a little funny. Please don't mock us. We're trying.
Hello, we are funny, okay.
Cool. Yeah.
நம்ம
Yeah, we are
சொல்லிக்க வேண்டியதுதான்.
funny. Stop talking in Tamil. Why are you doing this?
I think we should do an episode in Tamil only, like just speaking in Tamil.
I'm really curious.
Yes,
Like, where are you guys from? Where are you guys from? Where are you from? What language do you speak? We want to know that because we know a lot of our audience is from like India, but we still want to know.
And second
languages
highest
do
from
you
the
guys
US.
Yeah, what do you guys speak? Like, we speak Tamil. She can do an episode in another language that she speaks if she wants to do that, and I'll just be silent because I won't understand a thing. And yeah, funny stuff. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so let us know what you think. Let us know where you're from, your language, and if you want us to do another episode on, continuing this, we'd love to do that. Cool. Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate
Thank you, and bye.
Bye.